Hey guys, it's Courtney from Let's Craft today. Today we are going to be doing these little charms that you can make out of cardboard. It's not a very hard project to do, very simple, doesn't take very long. Be a nice little project you could do with your kiddos on a rainy day, snowy day. You can use them for scrapbooking. You can use them for, you can put bell tags on the back of them and use them for charms, make necklaces out of them, anything like that. So what you're gonna need is cardboard. I like to use cereal boxes, Kleenex boxes, anything like that, any kind of cardboard like that. So you're gonna need that. You are going to need paper of any kind. You can use literally any kind of paper. Scrapbook paper, paper from books, recipes, anything. You are going to need paint to paint any kind of paint. I use acrylic paint you can get it from Walmart or Hobby Lobby. But you're gonna need that to paint the backs of the cardboard. You are going to need a paper puncher. This one that I have two different sets of these paper punchers, and I like to use one set for paper and one set for cardboard, because if you use these on cardboard too many times, then it tends to dull the blade and it makes it, you can cut the paper with it, but it just doesn't make it as clean and clean cut. So, and you're also going to need white school glue. It does not matter what brand or anything like that. I just bought the cheapest that was up at the Walmart. So you're gonna need that. And I also, here's the little tip for you. I think it comes out too fast out of this for this project, or for any project for that matter. So I like to put mine in a little, just a little plastic container with a lid on it, and use a paintbrush, because then you can control how much goes on the cardboard a lot easier. And you're also going to need this Mod Podge Dimensional Magic, and it just kind of seals the top and makes it look like you put epoxy on it. So I already have some cardboard cut out here, so I am going to just glue those together. And I usually like to use about 7. I usually like to use about 7 of those, because that's just the thickness that I like it. Because I think that if you get it too thin, it's going to bend a lot easier, and you're not going to be able to, it's just not going to be as strong. So just glue all these together. And just make sure that they're even, and I like to do a few and then let them dry a little bit, just because then it doesn't slide, because if you don't get it completely dry in the middle, sometimes they slide and then they're not even together. So just plain old white school glue to glue them together. You'd be amazed at how strong this school glue actually is. I mean, they hold up. So hope y'all are doing good today. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'm not doing too bad. I got a sick kiddo at home. She's probably in there laughing at my video. She's a teenager, so she laughs at pretty much everything I do. Oh, that's a kid for you. But anyways, so once you get all these together, then you need to pick out, which I already have a bunch of, I already have a bunch of these papers, scrapbook papers, and all sorts of different papers cut out for the top. So, what do I want to use today? I think we might go with, ooh, these are pretty. I think we might go with just a gold polka dot. That's really pretty. It's kind of metallic polka dot. So this would be perfect. This paint right here, this antique copper paint. I think that'll go really good with it. So what I like to do is just, I don't ever squirt the paint out of the top. I just don't. It's just messier that way, I think. So what I do is just pour a little bit. I don't even take the wrapper off the lid. I just unscrew the lid and pour a little bit in top and do it like that. So let's see if this is dry enough. Oh, I did forget one step. Whenever you put, hold on just a second. Here we go. Couldn't find my sandpaper, guys. I like to sand the edges of these whenever after you glue them together. It just makes them more even and it just makes them smooth. So you don't have to sand a lot, just enough to smooth it out a little bit, because sometimes when you cut that cardboard it can be a little rough around the edges like this. So I just like to sand the edges and just take it, sand on the top a little bit too, just to get everything nice and smooth. You want everything to be as smooth as possible. So once you get that done, then I like to, before I put the top of this on, I like to paint mine first, just because then you're not taking the risk of accidentally painting the top. If you feel like you're steady enough to paint around that top, or even if you want a little bit of paint on the edges, because that might look kind of cool. If you want to do something like that, then by all means, go right ahead. But me, my hand's not steady enough for something like that, so this is just how I do it. So I'm just going to paint the top here, and it looks like it's going to need another coat, so I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes, and then we'll take you on to the next step. Okay, so I've got 2 coats on this now, and it is dry for the most part. I thought this turned out really pretty, this color. So the next step is going to be to glue on the top of the paper on the cardboard here. Yeah, I think that's pretty neat. Just sit it down here and make sure that all of your edges are glued down good, because you don't want them to come up after you get the dimensional magic on the top, because I had a few do that. Let me see if I have that one. Nope. I was going to show you one that I just did a while ago, and I didn't get one little corner glued down. I did a square one, and I didn't get one little corner glued down, and after the fact that I got the dimensional magic on it and it dried, one of the corners was coming up, and so that's not fun. Anyways, So there you have it. This is how you make it. The next step, last step, is to put the dimensional magic on it. Which this one comes out a little bit fast because someone cut the lid. Not the lid, but the nozzle. Somebody cut the nozzle on the top of mine, so you can get this. The only place that I've seen that you can get it, I'm sure there's other places that you can get it, like Amazon or eBay or something like that, but I got mine at Hobby Lobby, and it was about $6, I think, $6 and some change for this container, but it goes a long way, I think, but you just take it and just kind of go around the edges. I like to go around the edges first and then go in the middle with it. And you want to put a lot on there, because the more you put on there without it getting over the edges, if that makes sense, the more you put on there, the better, the more raised it's going to look, the more it's going to look three-dimensional. So I just take the end of a cheap brush and make sure I go out to the edges and make sure it goes all the way to the edges, but not over the edges. And I just let it dry. And usually it only takes a few hours for it to dry to where you can actually touch it, but I like to leave mine overnight just because I don't want it to be sticky in any way, because if you leave it just for a few hours, sometimes it's still a little tacky on top, and if you touch it just to see if it's tacky, then you get your like fingerprints in it, and I don't like that. So anyhow, I let that sit overnight, and of course you've seen the finished products, but when you're done with that layer the next day, I like to put a layer also of that dimensional magic on the back of it, just because it makes it more waterproof and more durable. I mean, I wouldn't soak it in water or anything because it's cardboard and paper, but once you put that dimensional magic on it, like if you have it as a keychain or a necklace or something like that and you were out in the rain, I think it would be fine. So, I mean, I've never actually been out in the rain with these before, but I'm sure that it would be fine with that dimensional magic on it because it's like a sealer, it's like an epoxy. So anyways, guys, that is how you make those charms. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hopefully will be making at least 2 videos a week, uploading a couple videos a week. So if you love to recycle and you love to craft and you love to do any kind of crafts in general or art, please hit the subscribe button and come back, and hopefully my quality of my videos will get a little bit better as time goes on. This is just my first video, so yeah, so like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.